My name is Cale Arden, a frontier mechanic on the dusty moon of Virulon 4, a place where engines coughed more dust than power, and the locals knew more about sandstorms than stars. My workshop, Arden Repairs, sat on the outskirts of the mining colony like a half-collapsed relic. But business was good enough: shuttles, plasma bikes, cargo haulers. Nothing special. Until the day the Imperial Queen of Astrix walked in. Or rather, crashed in. The sky split open with the thundering roar of a burning starship. It spiraled downward in a trail of molten sparks, smashing into the dunes a kilometer from my shop. Every sane person ducked inside the shelters. I ran toward it. The ship's hull was cracked open like an egg. A faint pulse of blue royal energy shield flickered, barely holding. I climbed inside, and there she was, helmet off, armor dented and scorched, Queen Ceres Astra, the youngest ruler in Astrixian history, famed across the galaxy for her tactical brilliance and her refusal to ever surrender. She looked up at me with eyes like molten silver. "Are you Cale Arden?" she asked, steady despite the wreck. My heart almost stopped. Yes. Good. You'll repair my armor. I blinked. Armor? Not the ship? She stood, limping slightly. The ship can burn. The armor cannot. The Senate is trying to remove me from the throne. I was ambushed. My armor was sabotaged. If I can't present myself at the tribunal within 20 hours, they'll strip my crown and declare open succession. And you want me to fix this? You're the best mechanic on Virulon 4, she said. And the only one who doesn't take bribes from the Senate. I stared at her, stunned. How do you know that? She smirked. I read your file. The Queen of Astrix knew my name. Before I could overthink, I helped her into my repair loader and transported her back to my workshop. My hands shook, partly from awe, partly because her armor felt like lifting a collapsed sun. The plates were alive with nanothreads, each one humming with protective magic tech. But they were broken, cracked, slashed, burned. Someone wanted her dead. I put on my gloves, activated my plasma tools, and got to work. Middle. Fixing royal armor wasn't like fixing a shuttle. It was ancient, crafted with soul-bound tech. The armor reacted to the wearer's heartbeat, thoughts, instinct, which meant the Queen had to stay beside me the entire time. She watched me work for hours, silent, analyzing, sometimes wincing when old wounds beneath the armor flared. At one point she asked quietly, "Why did you run toward a crashing ship instead of hiding?" I didn't look up. Someone needed help. Is that all? That's enough. She didn't reply, but I felt her gaze linger. We worked late into the night. I repaired the chest plate's fractured core, reforged the kinetic absorbers, replaced ruptured nanocircuits, and reactivated the living metal lining. When I touched a damaged section near the heart core, the armor flared with light, gold, bright, warm. The Queen inhaled sharply. "What was that?" I asked. "The armor accepted you," she whispered. "It hasn't done that for anyone but me." I froze. "Is that bad?" "No," she murmured. "It's impossible." By morning, the armor was completely restored, better than new. Its surface gleamed with starlight, the inner runes flowing smoothly again. When she stepped into it, the armor sealed itself around her like a second skin. Then it happened. A blinding pulse of light filled the workshop. The armor flared gold again, but brighter, wrapping both her and me in a shimmering aura. A deep tone rang out, an oath signal, ancient and unmistakable. The Queen's eyes widened. I staggered back. What did I do? "You," she swallowed. "You invoked the bond of Astrix." "The what?" "That light, the armor's recognition pulse. It has only one meaning." Her voice trembled for the first time since I met her. It declared you as a compatible partner, a life mate. I almost fainted. Hold on, partner. I was fixing it. Yes, she said slowly, but no one has ever repaired the heart core. It responds only to someone the armor deems worthy. And though I can reject the bond, the armor has chosen you. Before I could respond, the door to my workshop burst open. A squad of royal guards, carrying halberds of pure light, stormed in. They took one look at the glowing armor, and all of them dropped to their knees. One shouted, "The armor has chosen a groom," and suddenly the entire squad echoed it. "The queen has a groom." My jaw hit the floor. The queen's face went crimson. I wanted to crawl under a plasma bike and die. "Everyone stop shouting," she barked. But the declaration had been made. The bond seal had activated, and the guards immediately began preparing a royal escort, insisting I ride with her. "Can't I just go home?" I whispered. "Not after that," she muttered. We took off in a military shuttle, racing toward the Astrixian capital. On the way, she explained the situation. "The Senate has been trying to force me into a political marriage, but the armor's bond overrides all political claims. They can't challenge it. And that's good."
For me, yes.
"For you? I don't know." She looked at me, not with command, but with uncertainty. "I don't want to trap you into anything, Kale. When this crisis is over, you'll have the right to dissolve the bond." That eased my panic slightly. But when we landed at the capital, everything became worse. The moment the shuttle ramp opened, thousands of citizens saw the glowing armor, saw me, and erupted. "The queen has chosen her groom. A union of destiny. Long live the bond." I hid behind her like a terrified puppy. The Senate was furious. Old men in silver robes glaring daggers at me. One even hissed, "A mechanic? This is unprecedented." The queen stepped forward, her voice cold. "The armor has chosen. You will honor the ancient law." They had no choice. But not everyone was displeased. Some cheered, some smiled, and some bowed deeply. Ceremonies were planned, processes initiated, traditions invoked. Meanwhile, I had no idea if I'd survive the next day. Over the next weeks, as the tribunal prepared, I found myself constantly by the queen's side. Not by choice, the armor bond kept calling me back. If I wandered too far, the armor dimmed. If I was near, it glowed softly. She wasn't happy about it either, but she didn't blame me. Strangely, we grew closer. She taught me Astrixian customs. I repaired her armor daily, adding improvements she didn't know were possible. She asked questions about Virulon for my past, my family. Sometimes she'd smile at something I said, a real smile, not the royal one. And little by little, the bond began to feel less terrifying. Ending, full, proper conclusion, the tribunal day arrived. The Senate expected the queen to be weakened by the crash, by the scandal, by the rumors. Instead, she walked into the grand hall with her armor shining like the birth of a star, alive, powerful, whole. I followed her, feeling like a child stepping into a lion's den. The High Minister sneered, "Queen Ceres, your absence nearly cost the throne. How convenient that you return with the groom." My throat tightened, but the queen stepped protectively in front of me. "The armor bonded us without my request," she said, "but I will not deny its choice." The hall filled with whispers. Then she added, clear and loud, "Cale Arden is no ordinary mechanic. He restored what an entire Senate's engineering corps could not. He risked his life to rescue me, and he did not once ask for reward." Her voice softened, only for a second. "I trust him with my life." The armor merely confirmed what I already knew. I stared at her, stunned. Did she actually mean that? The tribunal's tests began, verifying the armor's authenticity, the bond's legitimacy, the Queen's authority. Hours passed. Political battles raged. Finally, the High Minister spoke. The tribunal recognizes the bond as valid. The Queen retains her crown, and the chosen groom shall receive the title of royal consort. I nearly fainted. The Queen turned to me. You don't have to accept that title. It's your choice. Everyone stared. My heart thundered. I thought about her bravery, her honesty, her trust. How she had defended me. How I had seen her laugh, stress, work, fight. I had fixed her armor, yes. But she had fixed something in me too, the belief that even ordinary people mattered. So I swallowed hard and said, I accept. A wave of cheers rolled through the hall. The Queen looked at me, truly looked, and for the first time, she smiled with relief, not duty. Over the next days, we planned the ceremonial union, not a forced marriage, but a symbolic bond sealing my position beside her. The armor glowed brighter each day, as though approving. One night, on the balcony overlooking the Astrixian skyline, she stood beside me, armor removed, wearing simple royal cloth. Kale, she said softly, you know you can still choose a different path after the ceremony. And leave you, I said. Not after everything. She exhaled, a warm, trembling breath. You really mean that? I really do. Slowly, she reached out, and her fingers brushed mine. Not a command, not a royal expectation, a question, a possibility. The armor on the stand behind her shimmered faintly with golden light, as if smiling. We stood together, looking out over the stars, the bond between us no longer frightening, no longer accidental. I came from a dusty moon, a nameless mechanic. Now I stood beside a queen. Not because the armor chose me, but because she did. And somewhere deep inside Astrixian history, in texts older than the throne itself, the phrase would be written.